The Iowa Hawkeyes are known to many as Tight End U, and against Illinois, they lived up to that name as both Sam Laporta and Sean Byer caught their first career touchdown. March 19, 2011. That's the date that Rock Island won the Class 3A state championship, something Mr. Basketball in the state of Illinois, Chasen Randall, will remember forever. But Junis has climbed up the ranks and made the most of his opportunities. Since 2017, he started 83 games for the Kansas City Royals. After almost closing in September, Snowstar Ski Resort has found new life with new management, new renovations, and new customers. Dustin, it means a lot. Before yesterday, Iowa lost 7 of their last 8 meetings against the Badgers. They finally get over the hump, and they did it in dominating fashion. Jay, the oldest rivalry in the state of Illinois is back. Moline versus Rock Island. But neither one of these teams have played football in a long time. For Rock Island, it's been 496 days. For Moline, it's been over 500 days. On Tuesday, Marion Ellis led Assumption with 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. The Knights were playing their first state semifinal game on Thursday since 2013. Well, I think that Nebraska is just a little bit too worried about mustaches instead of playing football. No, just kidding. This is a great rivalry, Dustin. We saw last year when Keith Duncan blew kisses after he hit the game-winning field goal. After a tough offseason and starting the year 0-2, the Iowa Hawkeyes have been through it all. Winners of 6 straight, and now have beaten the Wisconsin Badgers for the first time since 2015. That was the 5th straight victory for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and their 7th straight victory against Illinois. The Hawkeyes have a big game next week as they'll face Wisconsin at home. In 2018, DJ Carton was a junior at Bettendorf High School, and all looked well from the outside looking in. He was a great basketball player, had many big-time Division I offers. He had a loving and supporting family. But under the surface, DJ was dealing with emotional health issues.
I've had depression since senior high school, maybe junior year. I started kind of noticing it then. I mean, it was scary just because I didn't really do anything about it. I started kind of changing as a person. The people who I love knew, around me knew it. And, you know, I was just kind of oblivious to the fact that I was changing.
We started seeing some changes in him, behavior-wise.
I mean, it's enough it was a 17 and you're going up to be kind of a man and you want to stretch your legs kind of and kind of test those boundaries.
He called me one day. And I was driving on the interstate on 74, headed down to Cambridge for work, and I got a call from him, and he just said, "Mom," he goes, "I need to share something with you." He said, I feel really down, and I don't feel like myself. And I said, "Okay, can you expand a little bit more?" And he said, "I just don't feel happy, you know. I should be happy, and I don't feel happy." And I said, "Okay," you know, I said, "We'll talk more when I get home, you know." And I just remember pulling over and just sitting there, and I started to cry because, you know, I'm in the medical field, so I knew that that was depression.
As DJ was dealing with these issues, his fame was getting larger, something he did not know how to deal with.
When you're not recruited at that high level, I don't think you really understand the challenge that lies in those kids and the pressure that is put on them. And I'm not sure if that's what triggered it or not, but for me, I just saw a different DJ, and I didn't know if the pressure was getting to him, if it was overwhelming, because he's a pleaser, and he didn't want to let anybody down, and he knew there was a lot of people that wanted him.
DJ made his decision. He would attend Ohio State University, which is about 7.5 hours away from the Quad Cities. The Cartons wanted to make sure they were close enough to DJ if he needed them.
We bought it. We ended up buying a condo there. And to be truly honest with you, like, who does that? You know, I mean, some people do, and then their kids live in it. My kid couldn't even live in it, and we bought a condo there. Something in my instincts, I was all over him to do it.
At Ohio State, the pressure of playing basketball only grew, which made DJ's conditions worse.
But then it was the Northwestern game, and I went with my family, and Coach Clark was there. And what I don't even think anybody knows is that during that game, DJ had his best game. And during that game, he was actually having to run over to the garbage can and vomit. And then they would take him back into the locker room to try to feed him. Well, prior to that game, we talked to him and he hadn't eaten in 4 days. At this point, he had lost about 25 pounds.
Let's say it came down to a time when I really, I remember sleeping at night in my bed in college just by myself, and I was just like thinking to myself, like, I don't even want to be here no more.
At this time, DJ did not love the game of basketball anymore and started questioning why he was at Ohio State. It would get worse for Carton before it would get better. From Bettendorf, I'm Corey Rholdon, Local 4 Sports. From Rock Island to the Final Four. Former Rocky star Bree Beal has dreamt about playing in the big dance since she was a kid, and this past March, she made those dreams a reality.
I think it was so surreal because, like, last year it was just surreal being in a collegiate, like, game to me. So just being able to finish and get to, like, the NCAA, the Final Four, like, it was just crazy because as a kid I was just watching, you know, teams play there, get there, like, and amazing moments happen. So it was just so cool to me.
Before the pandemic hit last season, South Carolina had a record of 32-1. Beal believes that this year's team avenged the 2020 team.
You know, last year, we always talk about last year, how we had that chip on our shoulder. We wanted to finish. We were a great team last year. We had a great chemistry. We were playing good, and all of a sudden it just stops. Like, so definitely that chip on our shoulder, we're glad we got it to make it that far.
Before playing college basketball, Beal grew up watching Chasing Randall and learned how to be Rock Island strong.
For me, it was just growing up around a lot of boys from high school, middle school, like my best friends to this day. And they really shaped me to who I am, strong, mentally strong, physically strong. So that's what it was like for me. And definitely growing up and watching Chasing Randall, he was like my idol growing up. Like, I wanted to be like him. I wanted to make it out just like him. So that's kind of what it was like for me.
For next season, Bree Beal wants to focus on becoming a better basketball player to help her next dream of playing in the WNBA possible.
Definitely, from years to come, I want to aim to be an all-around player. I'm like harping that on myself, harping that, you know, with the coaches. They all understand, like, I need to work. I need to get in the gym and work. I need to work on so many different things to be that all-around player, to be able to, you know, set myself up to go to the league, to get drafted. So that's where I'm at, like, mentally right now. So I'm just pushing myself in this offseason because this is what matters most.
Bree Beal's favorite moment in her collegiate career so far is beating Texas in the Elite Eight to head to the Final Four.
Definitely after we won our to get to our Final Four game, that was just surreal again. Like I mentioned, you know, having my parents there, my little brothers there, and, you know, having our coaches, like, just the excitement they had, and, you know, us, our sophomores, like, we haven't been here. We didn't get a chance last year, and being able to get our freshmen and I to get there, like, that game was probably the best game so far of my 2 years.
Bree Beal will get to come back home to the Quad Cities soon, and her first stop will be at Portillo's. From Rock Island, I'm Corey Rholdon, Local 4 Sports.